Hello. Today we're going to talk about punctuating and spacing and all kinds of things related to dialogue. Some of your papers, as you're writing them, look just like this. And I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that. Okay, so the first thing is, always with a new paragraph, you're going to indent. I use the tab button. It's on the far left underneath the number 1. There's a button that says tab, and that's how you indent a paragraph. Now, I'm going along. Prof nodded. Prof is the name of a character. It's short for professor. And this is from Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. So I copied a section of his text. So Prof nodded, seeming unsurprised. All right, son, it's time for you to answer a few questions. Think carefully before you reply. Now, it is really difficult to see who is talking and saying what. So that is why we do punctuating and spacing the way we do. Okay? So after Prof has finished talking and someone else is starting to talk, so here we have, okay, I said, is a new person talking. That's the main character. I'm going to press enter to move that to the next line. And it already indented it for me. Okay? So, okay, I said, as Tia removed the strap, I rubbed my arm where I had been pricked. They took a sample of his blood. And now we have Prof talking again. So I'm going to press enter again, because every time a new person starts talking, you're going to press enter. Okay? So how? Prof said, did you find, oh, and I need quotation marks here. So you add a quotation with a space before and no space after it when you're opening the quotation marks. Okay. Okay. So you have the open quotation mark, no space, and start your word. Now, this right here is not capitalized because it's a continuation of the sentence from before. How, comma, because that's not the end of a sentence. Prof said, comma, because he's still talking. It's still the same sentence. Open quotes, lowercase, and then how did you find out where we were going to strike? Who told you fortuity was our target? Okay, so now I need to press enter because we have somebody new speaking. Nobody told me. Okay, so here it's his expression grew dark. That's going to be Prof, whose expression grew dark because he didn't like the answer. Now this one does not have what's called a tag. Where it says Prof said, I said, Prof nodded, seeming unsurprised. Those are tags that tell who's talking. When you have one person talking and then another person talking, and then it's like person A, person B, person A, person B. If you do that back and forth several times and there's only the two people in the room, or the only two people talking, then you don't always need to tag it. Okay? But if you're not sure, go ahead and tag it, and you can just say, I said, and that's fine. So his expression grew dark, meaning Prof. Beside him, Abraham raised an eyebrow and hefted his gun. I'm going to press enter because we have someone talking now. No, really, I said, sweating. Okay, now here we have no, really, exclamation mark. So that's the end of a sentence. I said, sweating. Open quotation marks, and then okay is capitalized because this is a complete sentence. This is the tag, and then this is the beginning of a new sentence. So you do want to capitalize here. So I heard from some people that you might be in town. And then Abraham jumps in. See, notice it said, I said, because now Abraham's going to start talking. We didn't tell anyone our mark, Abraham said. Also notice here that there's a comma and then a quotation mark. You do not need a space. Okay? There's no space in between that punctuation and this punctuation. Also notice with all of these that the comma comes before the closing quotation marks. The exclamation mark goes before the closing quotation marks. The period goes before the closing quotation marks. So always the punctuation goes before you close out those quotation marks. Okay? Open quotation marks. Even if you knew we were here, how did you know the epic we tried to kill? So we have another person talking. Well, comma, I need a quotation mark there because that's what he's saying. This is the tag. And then he's continuing the sentence. So here it's lowercase. Who else would you hit? And then press enter. There are thousands of epics in the city, son, Prof said. Sure, I replied, but most are beneath your notice. You target high epics, and there are only a few hundred of those in New Chicago. Among them, only a couple dozen have a primary invincibility, and you always pick someone with a primary invincibility. So again, ending that. So, as I said, this is from Steelheart, page 51 and 52 of his book. Very good book about superhero bad people. So, just in review, you're going to capitalize at the beginning of the sentence, use a comma if you're not finished with the sentence, and close quotations include the tag, and then you either need a period there or a comma. Prof said is not a complete sentence necessarily, and he's continuing the sentence on after that, so that's why they used a comma here. Okay. Close out with the ending punctuation and the quotation marks. If you're going back and forth several times between two people, you don't need a tag all the time. If there's ever any confusion or somebody else walks in, then you need to start tagging it again when there's 3 people in the room. That way you know who is speaking. Okay? Anytime a new person starts speaking, you have to start a new paragraph. So if you'll notice, Prof said this, the I character said this, Prof said this, the I character said this. And then this is just exposition here. And then I said this. And then Abraham said this. And then I said this. And then Prof said this. And then I said this. Okay, so do you see how there's a new paragraph each time a person starts talking? If there's ever any doubt, you can always ask your teacher, or you can look at a book. And most good published novels will have correct punctuation and capitalization and spacing. So pay attention to the spacing as well. No space after the opening one. You do need a space after the closing. Okay, so you can always look in a book and see how they do it, and then you can mimic that. Have a lovely day and happy writing.